Today on Sports Around the Bar, we're going to talk about the Micah Parsons trade and how it affects both teams going forward.
Mega shakeup in the NFL, seeing this caliber of a guy move right before the season starts. We're going to go into the Packers, we're going to go into the Cowboys, and Drew, could there be a wrinkle to all this that everybody's missing? Spoiler alert, no.
No, there's definitely something to talk about because, in my opinion, Jerry Jones dropped the ball big time on this. Come on.
This isn't the first time Jerry Jones has run a contract all the way to like the death, where it's like with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, their receiver. He seems like he always hesitates to the last minute to try to just squeeze every nickel and dime out of the deal and get the best deal, really win. But then he doesn't, right? Like, you talk about the Dak contract and the fact that he got paid $60 million a year, basically, when other quarterbacks weren't getting that. I mean, Mahomes is on something like 45. So the gap between Dak and Mahomes is 25%. Yeah. And you're talking about having the better quarterback in Kansas City. This just feels like Jerry Jones has to feel like a winner walking away from the table, and every time he shoots himself in the foot. I had to change my euphemism there. I was about to say something else. He shoots himself in the foot and walks away with virtually nothing. And in this case, has to trade what might be the best edge rusher in football.
Yeah, he had an interview Jerry Jones did earlier in a press conference, and one of the reporters asked, what can your future players that are looking for extensions or raises from you, what's the word of advice you would give them? And he goes, go ask Dak. I just want to make this very clear. Dak trying to get that extension wasn't a pretty one.
No.
So when he says that, it's like, good luck. I'm going to fight you to the bitter end, which I'm agreeing with your statement earlier. I'm going to fight you to the very end until you agree. Now, we are recording on Labor Day. Their cornerback, Bland, just signed an extension at $92 million a year.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot quieter, not as big named as Micah Parsons or Dak, but that's a pretty good amount of money for a corner that, maybe?
It's the interceptions, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the interceptions.
If you were going to put him in a top 10, he's there. But is he in top 5?
I don't know that I put him in the top 10 because I feel like interceptions are a little more anecdotal. Now, some guys have it, some guys don't. Like, if you look at the Titans, no matter what corner they sign, they do not pick the ball off, and that is a major factor because turnovers win games. Every pregame ever will say they need to protect the football. There's a reason it's cliche. It's because it's true.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Bland, in what world does like sub $30 million look like a deal? A year look like a deal? Because 4 years, 92. It's like 2 years ago we've been like, wow.
Yeah. No. And
now they're like, well, guys are making 40. Who cares?
Right.
What a deal
on a guy that maybe is a top 10, maybe. But we're not talking about him.
Sure.
We're just talking about the extension. Obviously, Jerry Jones is willing to pay people, and now the fact that Micah Parsons is gone and they picked up, I just blanked down the name for
Kenny Clark. But defensive end versus defensive tackle.
Right, which I was just about to say leaves a lot of money left on the board because you don't pay a defensive tackle the kind of money you'd spend on an edge.
But the other issue with that is it kind of doesn't because they've already paid everyone else. I think more than anything, it's they couldn't make the money work with what Parsons
There
wanted.
was money there to give Parsons.
Yeah.
I almost call him Parkins. But Parsons, there was money to give him, but it wasn't where he wanted it. That's what I'm saying. The fact now he's gone, you have a defensive tackle instead of an edge rusher, you have money to pay a corner. That was my point.
And Kenny Clark has been one of the underrated defensive tackles in the league. He's one of those guys that you would argue, like you probably wouldn't think of him when you're talking about defensive tackles in the top 10, but he is great pretty much across the board in terms of rushing the passer, defending the run. He's been a guy that does it all, and Dallas has been looking for that for years. I mean, go back, they just drafted Mozzie Smith 2 years ago in the first round. He hasn't really lived up to that. He's been more of a run defender than anything. I even remember saying, in the moment, I called that pick. I was watching the draft with my brothers, and I told them this is going to be Mozzie Smith because they don't have a D tackle, and they want to fix their run defense. They took him, and I mean, it still feels like an issue in Dallas. The problem is what Dallas's defense has been elite at rushing the passer. You look at DeMarcus Lawrence,
Yes.
You look at Micah Parsons, and now, like with Parsons' departure, it feels like that era is over, and the Cowboys are going to have to figure out what comes next. Because if you're not an elite quarterback rushing team anymore, what is your defense? Like Bland had all those interceptions, but how many of them came because the quarterback had no time to throw and had to make a bad decision? I think I'm old school. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm old school. Fine. You build from the defensive line, and then you work back because the best corners in the league can't hold on for 8 seconds.
No, absolutely. you're not wrong. Every team should build that way defensively, I believe, as well. If you go back and look at our positions on how you build a franchise nowadays, a defensive end was my second pick outside of a quarterback.
And can I counter that a little bit where I say, you don't want to be the 28th team building the team that way, where it's like if everyone's going edge rusher first, then maybe you counterpunch and you go with try to have the best corner and you say we'll figure out edge afterward. You don't want to be last in line to get these guys, but Dallas wasn't last in line. Dallas had what maybe Myles Garrett is better than Parsons. The difference is the age. Myles Garrett's 30 and Micah Parsons is 25.
Yeah, right now Myles Garrett is just a smidge better. It's that same scenario where you asked like the Bengals how many number 1, number 2 receivers you have. They said 1A or 1 and 1A. That's kind of like my opinion. Myles is a 1, Parsons is a 1A. Let's talk about what the Cowboys got. They're getting, obviously, we talked about the defensive tackle, 2 first-round draft picks, and this next year and the year after that draft. Is that value enough for Micah Parsons, though?
No, because the Packers just made the playoffs without him, right? So theoretically, short of something happening to Jordan Love and you getting an entire year with Malik Willis, the Packers are probably going to be in the playoffs again. And you're talking about these picks being in the 20s,
and this is why you pay a guy that much money in Micah Parsons when they're in the playoffs to get that sack that just turns the game around.
And bringing a 30-year-old D tackle like Kenny Clark in doesn't really fix anything. So it's a situation, Drew, where by the time Dallas fixes this defense and they're ready to compete again, Kenny Clark is going to be aged out and not ready to take you to the Super Bowl like some of these other guys. So why bring him in? This deal would have made a lot more sense to me if it was the 2 firsts and then you're getting a bunch of depth picks. Give me a second, a third, and a fourth over the next 3 years. It doesn't all need to be in 1 year. That's where I would say the Cowboys held their own in this trade, where they've got a generation of draft picks. I think the problem is Jerry Jones is old and who knows how much longer he has left on this walk in this earth. He might be saying, I want another Super Bowl before I go, so I don't want to build for the future with draft picks. I want guys now, and yeah, maybe a couple first-rounders can get you there, but I don't really like it. I think that's why he wanted the player.
The only thing that would be is that you keep Micah Parsons in because you got arguably the best pass rusher in the game. You keep him. That is a huge piece that you need in the NFL, and he, by all accounts, let him walk.
Flushed it, Drew. He flushed the best or second best edge rusher. Like, there's not many guys you put over Parsons. Flushed him in what my opinion is, and I think the general consensus is not enough. Before we talk Packers, I do want to finish up on the Cowboys with this. Is there any way you can see them still competing? Because I've heard, all the fluff pieces on ESPN coming out and saying, well, the Cowboys still think they're in Super Bowl contenders, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course you say that. Are they really? Is it over? It kind of feels over in Dallas.
It did. It is. First of all, the division's tough. The Eagles, the Redskins, all were in the playoffs. One's a Super Bowl winner of last year. This is not going to be easy.
Redskins on the rise. Giants getting better, even if they're not there yet.
It's a tough division. That's just plain simple. It's the Eagles' division until proven differently, and I think the Redskins are the only team at this time could probably say anything different than that. Yeah, I agree with you. You got 2 first-round picks that arguably are too late in the round for such a great player. I mean, maybe you find someone just as good as him, but good luck.
Yeah.
It's tough.
If you had shipped him to a bad team, I'd say this is a lot better. If we're talking these picks right around 10,
absolutely,
we'd be like, wow. But these are what were the Packers last year? 24, 25, and now you're talking about the Packers potentially getting better. So what, is this going to be pick 28 or God forbid 32 because they win the Super Bowl because you made this trade?
I don't know why it's God forbid, but maybe.
Well, I'm saying for the Cowboys' sake.
Sure.
I don't care about the Packers, but I'm saying
God forbid they win
my
the Super
team
Bowl.
ain't winning it, so I don't care.
God forbid.
No, I'm just saying, Cowboys-wise, you just traded this away, and, there would be no worse insult than you trade Micah Parsons away, and then now all of a sudden you're holding pick 32 because the team you sent him to won the Super Bowl. It's why didn't we ship him off to, somebody like the Giants or Carolina or something like that and go get one of these draft picks that's going to be in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean, Micah Parsons really couldn't ask for a whole lot better. As we get into what the Packers get from this is you're going to go to a franchise that's deep-seated in history, known to have fans that absolutely adore their players, and such a great organization up there that's done well building itself from the ground up in the sense of letting Aaron Rodgers go away from a quarterback sitting on the sideline and Jordan Love and looking like he hasn't skipped a beat, and it's a quarterback play in the Packers. It's it's huge to bring someone in like that. Like I was joking, or not joking, I was saying earlier, when you get the playoffs, this is a player you want in Micah Parsons, where you get that sack when time's crucial, where they're driving the other team's driving the ball down the field, they need to get a first down, and Micah Parsons sacks the quarterback. That's what you're going to hope from this guy that realistically you weren't getting in the Packers defense beforehand.
And they've been strong, but not elite, is the sense. This kind of raises them up, I think, where they've been a solid defense.
Right, you have Rashad Gary,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Rashawn
Gary.
Yep.
You have him there, who's going to be a great second piece to this. I do think you lose a little bit in Kenny Clark being gone, though. I don't think that's something that just you ignore. Unless there's defensive tackles that have been killing it in training camp that we're just not aware of. I mean, you can't really...
It is a worry, but again, all of these quarterbacks now as the game gets faster are running quarterbacks, and when you have that D-tackle punch through, if your edge rushers don't win and are able to keep the pocket contained, what do they do when your edge rusher or when your D-tackle gets through? They roll right out away from him, and it doesn't matter that you punch the line in 2.5 seconds. You're not fast enough to catch a quarterback. The difference is these edge rushers are athletes.
Unless your name's like Chris Jones or Aaron Donald before he retired.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. But if you watch the way those defenses play, almost always when you have that elite defensive tackle, what you do is almost play a contained thing where your edge rushers aren't necessarily trying to beat the guy on the outside. They want to keep the quarterback in the pocket for Chris Jones to go in there and get him where he can't get away from him.
Absolutely.
Is there any way this backfires on the Packers? Because almost everybody, I think, says the Packers win this. I worry about the money. This is a team that doesn't really delve into free agency very often. They don't go out and make the splash moves. Is it out of step for them to trade multiple first-round picks away, and then sign Micah Parsons to what is now the richest non-quarterback contract at 4 years, $186 million? Drew, is 46.5, which I would argue has reset the market when you talk about guys just, Jamar Chase was fighting to get over that 40 mark. It was like 40.25. Now we're talking about a $6 million jump.
Yeah.
Is this the point where you're putting your eggs in too much in one basket?
Every contract that you sign to a player this caliber, and Micah Parsons will reset all the market. And I think I sent it to you earlier in the week. There is a little thing out there where it says Brett Favre got Reggie White, won a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers got Charles Woodson and won a Super Bowl. Jordan Love got Micah Parsons.
And question mark? Won a Super Bowl?
So even though this team has not been known to really do a lot of deep diving in free agency, every time they've done this, historically, they've won a Super Bowl.
I like this move for the Packers. I do worry about the defensive tackle situation because it could become a situation where you're not able to stop the run as well without Kenny Clark there, where, you have these elite pass rushers, but if teams are running for 4 yards a carry, I don't care, right? Like, I'm just going to beat you through attrition of just running the ball 4 yards at a time. But historically with LaFleur and across the board with Green Bay, they've managed to kind of get blood from stone in terms of their defenders, where they may not have marquee names, but they do enough in the running game where they're always solid. And I'll trust that even though you're trading your big name, quote unquote, maybe not big name D tackle, a guy who should be a big name D tackle with the production he puts out, even though you're shipping that away.
Yeah. I mean, he'd probably be top 5 if I did it.
10-ish, I think, is fair. Maybe not. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. That's the thing. There's more D tackles that when you start talking about it, you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about Quentin.
He might be at 6.
I forgot about Big Q for the Jets, and I forgot about the Giants D tackle. Even Jeffrey Simmons. The Titans stink, but he doesn't. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are in that area. Chris Jones. I mean, the big ones we're not talking about. Top 5's a little rich for Kenny Clark, but top 8? Top 9? Top 10? We have to do our
oh, God. We got another subject again.
No joke. I think, again, this is the risk you want to take when you're going for a Super Bowl. I think the Packers see themselves ascending. They see what Detroit has going on, and they say, how are we going to go beat Detroit? We're going to go knock Jared Goff's block off by sending Micah Parsons at him. Love the move. The money worries me a little bit, but as long as the betting money keeps coming in, we might see another $30 million a year jump for the next couple of years. So this $48 or $46 million a year, Drew, might not seem that crazy 2 years from now.
Yeah, maybe not. Well,
let us know in the comments, guys, who won this trade. We want to know. Again, we're just two idiots talking about it, man.
Like, I mean, we already know who won the trade, right?
We said that about Khalil Mack. I said I was going to talk about this, and then I didn't do it. We said that about Khalil Mack for the Bears, where, if you remember, everybody said, Super Bowl for the Bears. It's over. We're done. Bears win. They got this trade.
I never said that.
And then what happened? I mean, Khalil Mack was good for them. After he had a slow start, but was good for them.
I said that defense went from average to really good.
Yeah.
Or even a little bit above average to really, really good. But I never said they're going to win a Super Bowl there. If I said that,
I'm not saying us. I'm just saying everybody was saying when Khalil Mack
I don't know if I
happened.
ever said that.
I remember being stoked about it, and then it just didn't quite live up to the hype. Could we see that with Parsons, or do you think he gets there?
No, I don't think so. I'm not trying to sit there and say that Khalil Mack wasn't this kind of caliber player when he was traded to the Bears, as Micah Parsons is. But it feels different. Does it feel different to you? Like, Khalil Mack was huge. The fact that Bears got him, that was massive.
I think it's just the age. I think Khalil Mack was a little bit older, so we'd seen like a longer period of dominance, even though Parsons has been dominant since he's been there.
He's 25.
And he hasn't been alone is the thing in Dallas. Like, they've always tried to focus on the other pass rusher, too.
Right.
So it's like, it's not just Parsons.
It feels like we haven't seen the top Mike Parsons at 25.
Yeah, he might get better, and that's the scary thing.
That's the scary thing, right?
If you're wearing purple or
blue
Chicago blue or yeah, exactly, Detroit's powdery blues or whatever they call it, steel blue.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
yeah. I'd be worried if I was an NFC North quarterback. I don't like this move. Like, no, come on, Goodell, veto this, please.
That's not happening.
No, exactly. So let us know in the comments who won this trade. We want to hear your opinion. And is Green Bay a Super Bowl contender? I want to round out on that. Let us know in the comments, do you think this makes Green Bay a Super Bowl contender? Is the window still open for Dallas? Let us know what you think down below. I'm going to ask you both those questions real quick. Rapid fire, Drew. Is Green Bay a Super Bowl contender now? And is Dallas cooked?
Rapid fire is hard. Yeah, I would say the Packers are a Super Bowl contender because they've been a playoff team for the last 2 years. So any team that can keep on making playoffs has an opportunity to win a Super Bowl.
And they got better here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dallas, are they cooked? The only way I can see it not being cooked, my answer is yes, they're cooked. The only way I cannot see it is that offense just booms out of nowhere, and you're talking about putting up 40, 45 points a game, and you're trying to have another team try to just do the same. But I don't see it happening.
They paid top dollar for a mid-tier quarterback with Dak. Dallas is cooked. I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he's a great receiver. They paid him a lot of money.
I like Pickens as a number 2.
They don't really strike me as a team that's going to run as well as they used to back in their heyday, where the offensive line has started to decline a little bit. So the offense isn't as good, the defense isn't as good, and the Cowboys are looking around like, we got to hit on some of these draft picks. Like that, if the only way they get back into it is if
next 2 years.
Well, like they have four first rounders in the next 2 years. Yeah. If they turn them all into like studs,
unless they
they can be back.
They trade them up for somebody big. Well, guys, that will do us for Sports Around the Bar.
Wait, I got to answer the Green Bay thing.
Oh, I thought you did.
I mean, yeah, they're Super Bowl contenders. All right, moving on.
I really thought you did. That's why
I agree with what you said. That's okay. I agree with what you said. But no, go ahead. I agree that Green Bay is a contender because they've been there and now they got better, right?
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it.
I don't want to.
Am I finished? I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it for Sports Around the Bar and the Micah Parsons trade. Guys, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you got to do to help us grow. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us.
We do this because we love talking with you. We don't want it to just be us pontificating what we think. Let us know. Settle the debate down in the comments. Just let us know the lay of the land. We want to hear from you.
Absolutely. This is Jake, and I'm Drew, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.